तीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय मृषभात परमंस परिव्राजकचरष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय मृषभात परमंस परिव्राजकचरष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22, The Marriage of Kardamani and Devahuti, text number 9. We'll read 9 and 10, both verses 9 and 10. We'll chant verse number 9. After that, we'll read 10. Priyavrata Uttanapadoho Priyavratottanapadoho Priyavratottanapadoho Swasa Iyam Duhita Mama Swaseyam Duhita Mama Swaseyam Duhita Mama Anu Ichchati Patim Yuktam Anvichchati Patim Yuktam Anvichchati Patim Yuktam Vayaha Sila Guna Adibhihi Vayaha Sila Gunadibhihi Vayaha Sila Gunadibhihi Priyavratottanapadoho Swaseyam Duhita Mama Anvichchati Patim Yuktam Vayaha Sila Gunadibhihi Priyavratottanapadoho Swaseyam Duhita Mama Anvichchati Patim Yuktam Vayaha Sila Gunadibhihi Priyavrata Uttana Padoho of Priyavrata and Uttana Pada. Swasa, sister. Iyam, this. Duhita, daughter. Mama, my. Anvichati, is seeking. Patim, husband. Yuktam, suited. Vayaha Shila Guna Adibihi, by age, character, good qualities, etc. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. My daughter is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada. She is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character and good qualities. Kindly repeat. My daughter is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada. She is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character and good qualities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The grown-up daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, Devahuti, had good character and was well qualified. Therefore, she was searching for a suitable husband, just befitting her age, qualities and character. The purpose of Manu's introducing his daughter as the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada, two great kings, was to convince the sage that the girl came from a great family. She was his daughter and at the same time the sister of Kshatriyas. She did not come from a lower class family. Manu therefore offered her to Kardama as just suitable for his purpose. It is clear that although the daughter was mature in age and qualities, she did not go out and find her husband independently. She expressed her desire for a suitable husband corresponding to her character, age and quality. And the father himself, out of affection for his daughter, took charge of finding such a husband. Text number 10. Yada tu bhavatah shila shrutarupa vayo gunan ashno naradadesha tvayasit krita nischaya. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The moment she heard from the sage Narada of your noble character, learning, beautiful appearance, youth and other virtues, she fixed her mind upon you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The girl Devahuti did not personally see Kardama Muni, nor did she personally experience his character or qualities, since there was no social intercourse by which she could gain such understanding. But she heard about Kardama Muni from the authority of Narada Muni. Hearing from an authority is a better experience than gaining personal understanding. She heard from Narada Muni that Kardama Muni was just fit to be her husband. Therefore, she became fixed in her heart that she would marry him, and she expressed her desire to her father, who therefore brought her before him. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Dvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. So the marriage between Kardama Muni and Devahuti was a love marriage. That is the essence of these two verses. Nowadays, our understanding of love marriage is different. Today, love marriage means boy and girl have to come together, they have to date, they have to get close to each other, have a live-in relationship, spend some time together, abort a few children, then you get to know each other, then you decide whether you want to continue or not, maybe have 2-3 breakups, have, then finally you decide this is the person I want. And finally you marry that person only to divorce that person after a few years, figuring out that actually your choice was wrong. The concept of love marriage is not something new. It has been there existing in the creation since the beginning of creation. We can see the incident of the incident of Kardama Muni and Devahuti marrying is happening at the very beginning of creation itself, at the time of Swayambhuva Manu. So Swayambhuva Manu was the first Manu in the day of Brahmaji. So that means at the beginning itself, the starting itself is love marriage. We can look at it that way. Unfortunately, in today's time, when we speak of love between a man and a woman, it has been reduced to the physical attraction that a man feels for a woman. When a man and a woman see each other, they get attracted physically and they think, okay, this is love. And naturally, to be able to attract the opposite sex, the woman will also put on a personality, the man will also put on a personality, so that he can woo the girl or the girl can woo the man, and finally they can get together. After they get together, the real character starts getting revealed. So just like a joke, one time I was traveling from Vrindavan to Lucknow. So it so happened that in the same train which I was traveling, one more IAS officer, a bureaucrat, not an IAS officer, a bureaucrat. He was also traveling with me. And we knew each other very closely. He had been in Mathura for a long time. And that's how we had come to know him. And he had shifted to some other district in Uttar Pradesh. So we were meeting after quite some time, after several months. When we met each other, naturally we greeted each other very nicely and asked, how are you, where are you, and all those kind of things. We exchanged a few pleasantries. And then his wife was also sitting there with him. And he said, my wife is also there. So I said Hare Krishna to her also. Then somehow talking, then one more person also happened to come there, who was the local MLA of Mathura district. He also happened to be traveling together. So, we all three of us knew each other and we started talking to each other. Somehow, talking, the talk veered towards the marriage and wives and all that. And then this bureaucrat, he started saying, see, every woman at the beginning, she will be like the moon. Later, after marriage, she will become like the sun. So the wife also started laughing. He was joking, of course. The wife was laughing and the MLA was also laughing. And she also started saying something in similar way. So we were all having a nice laugh. So the point is that everybody understands that when a man and woman start a relationship, everything is very rosy and nice, like the cooling rays of the moon. The relationship is like that. Later, the same relationship will become like the hot, burning rays of the sun. So what happens is, when we come to know, when the boy and girl come to know each other's true personality, that is when the problems start happening, and that's when breakups happen and divorces start happening. Because the whole relationship is based on something very flimsy. And nowadays, the dating has been taken to another level. Girl and boy meet online. They date online, then they physically meet. There is another interesting story. Somebody was, sharing how in I think in America or Europe or somewhere, one husband and wife, all marriages are naturally, there is no arranged marriage there. They fell in love and they married each other. After a few years, they got fed up with each other. So, the relationship became stale and they were no more happy in that relationship. So they started searching for a new partner online, unknown to each other. Man is also searching online for a new partner. Wife is also searching. Both of them don't know. And then this husband, he managed to, zero down upon one girl, started then talking online, chatting online, sharing messages, this, that, and all that. And this woman also found another man. started chatting online, and after a little while, the relationship grew. So all this is happening unknown to each other. At home, both of them are not showing all this is happening. Then finally, one day, this man fixed up a physical appointment with that girl whom he had got into a relationship. And this woman also, very happy, found a new man, and their interactions, all their chatting, everything was going nicely. And she also felt, this is the guy for me. So she fixed up a meeting with him also. So both of them, they fixed a meeting with their respective partners, new partners. And they came, at some hotel or cafe or somewhere. Unfortunately, the place where they met was common. They met at the same place and at the same time, their new partners. And when they finally came and met in this one, the wife realized that the boy she was dating online was her own husband. And the husband realized that the girl he was dating online, new girl he was dating online, was his own wife. You see how in their actual relationship it had become stale. They had lost their whole taste in that relationship. They were looking for new people, and they fell in love online with a new person. That person is the same old person which they got fed up with. So this online, what happens is everybody builds up their own persona, which is not actually themselves. Physically also, when people meet, they don't put up their persona, real persona up front. Slowly, with time, it will get revealed. And online, you can build up your persona even more. Like, there was in Japan, there was a girl who was a travel enthusiast. Young girl, some maybe 20s, and very good looking. So she would take her bike everywhere and take pictures, selfies with herself, and put on this one on the social media, and everybody would like it. And within a very short time, she gained millions of followers. Then finally, after a few months, the girl revealed that actually she is not a girl. She's a 50-year-old man, and posted her actual photograph. So all those millions of followers had a heartbreak. So you can see how on the social media you can portray totally different personality than what you really are. And then you attract people, and then you get associated, and finally the personality is something else. So naturally, when the people come together, the relationship will not last. That is how breakups happen. Various marriages end up in divorce. All these things have become a very common affair. But in the case of Kardamani and Devahuti, as we will see, although it was a love marriage, it lasted for a full lifetime. We can see that all the love marriages that have been described in the Shastras, they all lasted for the full lifetime. Even if it was arranged marriage also, there was no question of divorce or breakups happening. How come the love marriages of those times were so strong? Unlike today, where at the drop of a hat, there are breakups and other divorces happening. Because the love marriages of those times were based on a different thing. Like it is mentioned here, Devahuti, she also became attracted by the personality of Kardamani. So, what were the things that she was attracted to in Kardamani? Sheela, Shruta, Rupa, Vayaha, Guna. The Sheela, his noble character. His Shruta, his learning. He was a greatly learned sage. Rupa, beautiful appearance. Vayaha, youth. And Gunan, his great virtues. So it was not just youth and beautiful appearance alone, which is today's criterion. Those days, and of course, when a woman gets married to another man, another important consideration apart from youth and beauty is money. How much money the man is capable of earning, how much money the woman is capable of earning. Accordingly, the marriage gets fixed. But here, there is no such consideration of money at all. Consideration of Rupa and youth, Vayaha and Rupa appearance and youth is there, but it's not the primary criterion. What is the primary criterion? Shila, what is his character? Is he of noble character? Shruta, is he well learned? Is he learned in the Vedas, in the Shastras? Does he understand the path of dharma or not? And Gunan is good virtues. Is he a virtuous man? So these were the considerations based on which a girl would get attracted to another man. And this attraction also would not happen simply just like that, by physical appearance and the man presenting about himself. That is not the way it used to happen. One would not come to know about another's quality and characteristics by the person describing himself, which is what happens today. Nobody will like to think of himself as somebody who is of bad character or low qualities. Everybody will try to present himself in a very nice way. That is human nature. So, the dependence on the assessment of the character was not upon the individual's presentation about himself. It was dependent on what great authorities had assessed about that person. And so, therefore, Devahuti became attracted to the qualities of Kardamumuni. How? By Ashrunon Naradad. She heard about Kardamumuni's characters from Narada Muni, who is a great Devarishi. He is a great sage amongst the Devatas. Such a great authority. When she heard from him, she understood. He is telling me means his assessment must be correct. And so, her mind got attracted to Kardamumuni. And of course, Devahuti is not an ordinary person. She is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, the emperor of the whole mankind. But then, Kardamumuni is a simple rishi living in some ashram in the forest. Devahuti never considered his financial position. How well can he provide for me? What kind of ornaments he can buy me? Can he buy me a nice flat? Can he buy me a nice car? Of course, in those days, cars were not there. Can he afford a nice chariot? Those kind of considerations were not there. She simply went by the character. Is he of good character? Will I be happy being with him? That was the whole consideration. So therefore, what happened was, when she fixed her mind upon Kardamumuni, she decided, this is the person I want to marry. What did she do? Did she go and send a contact request to Kardamumuni directly? No. What she did, she informed her mother to inform her father. And when the father understood, oh, my daughter has fallen in love with Kardamumuni, he decided, okay, I will take my daughter personally and introduce her to him and hand her over to him. So you see, even in those days, the parents were very loving to their daughters. If the daughter fell in love with somebody, they would try their best to fulfill her desire. So therefore, Kardamumuni came in front of, Swayambhuva Manu approached Kardamumuni, and he took upon himself to convince Kardamumuni to marry his daughter. How to convince Kardamumuni? Because Kardamumuni is also a great sage. Naturally, if he wanted to marry, he will not marry a woman of some low quality. She also has to be up to the mark to be able to assist him and support him in his spiritual activities. Therefore, Swayambhuva Manu started explaining the qualities of his daughter first. How did he explain her qualities? He told that she is my daughter and she is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Because the glories of Priyavrata Maharaj and Uttanapada was known all over the universe. They were not ordinary people. They were great kings. And Swayambhuva Manu is Manu himself. Naturally, in their household, there is a girl means she must also be of great good qualities. And so, therefore, he said that he introduced his daughter like this with the confidence that she will be the right person to partner Kardamumuni in his spiritual activities. So, when the relationship is based on mutual good character and qualities, and both of them are oriented towards spiritual advancement, then what happens is the relationship becomes very deep, profound, and very strong. It will last for a lifetime. There is no question of any breakup or fights or separation or divorce. That is not going to happen. Now, another interesting point to note is that the attraction between woman and man is accepted in the Vedic literature as a fact, as a reality of life. It is not something which is meant to be opposed. Nowadays, we hear of many honor killings that happen when a girl of one caste falls in love with a boy of another caste and they want to get married. There is great opposition from the parents of both sides, and many times it unfortunately ends up in honor killings. But if we see here, Devahuti is from a Kshatriya family and Kardamani is a Brahmana. It is an intercaste marriage. But when even though it is intercaste marriage, the moment the father heard that the daughter has fallen in love with a boy from another caste, he did not oppose. On the other hand, he personally went with her. Although he is the emperor of the whole universe, he could have sent some servant or some messenger to Kardamani, asked him to come, nothing. He went personally. So much love he had for his daughter to strike up the relationship. So, this, as long as the relationship was conducive, it was for the benefit, mutual benefit of the boy and girl. There was no restriction on even intercaste marriages, even at the beginning of the creation. Because it was an accepted fact in the Vedic civilization that a boy needs a girl, girl needs a man. This is the accepted thing in reality, in real life, practical life. And this attraction between boy and girl is actually stemming out of a higher source. There is a higher source from which this attraction between the man and woman is happening, and therefore it cannot be denied. Just like we see when Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended on this earth 5,000 years ago. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why did he descend to this material world? There were several purposes for which the Lord descended. To fulfill his purposes, the Lord did not personally descend. He, even by just wishing, by desiring, the Lord can fulfill his desires. He can send his messengers, his trusted servants, who can come and fulfill his desire. Krishna can use his Shaktis, his unlimited potencies, his unlimited energies to fulfill his desires. But still, the Lord, the Supreme Lord Krishna, descends himself for many purposes, for re-establishing dharma, for protecting the devotees, to annihilate the demons. And one more thing that he wants to achieve is to set an example for the people, how one should conduct one's life. This is also one of the purposes for the Lord's descent. So, when the Lord descended, how did he conduct himself? The Lord also fell in love with so many girls. And there were so many love marriages. Practically all the marriages that Krishna had with all his queens were all love marriages. All the girls fell in love with Krishna, and that's how Krishna married them. The first person Krishna married was Rukmini Devi. So the beginning of Krishna's Grihastha life itself was a love marriage. Although, and what kind of love marriage? Not an ordinary love marriage. Why? Because in the case of Devahuti, the moment she desired to marry Kardamani, she informed her father, and father brought her and handed over to Kardamani. So very, very calm and peaceful love marriage it was. But in the case of Rukmini Devi, what happened was, Rukmini Devi was the daughter of Bhishmaka, and she wanted to marry Krishna. And she wanted to marry Krishna, and her father, Bhishmaka, was also in agreement. He also felt, yes, Krishna is the right person to marry my daughter. But unfortunately, Bhishmaka was under the control of his eldest son. He had 5 sons. The eldest son was Rukmini, who was envious of Krishna. He did not like Krishna. So he said, why my sister should marry Krishna? No. Krishna is not suitable for our dynasty. And he went and struck an alliance with Shishupala. And he came and told his father and his sister, I have fixed up my sister's wedding with Shishupala. Now Bhishmaka, what to do? He was very unhappy. But then he did not have the courage to go against his son's wishes. So very unwillingly he said, okay, you have already decided, you have already spoken, made all the arrangements, fine, we'll go ahead with that. So Rukmini Devi, now what to do? She was a very young girl, she was just a teenager. Very young, very soft, very tender. She also did not have the guts to stand up to her brother. But at the same time, she also did not want to get married to Shishupala. She wanted to marry Krishna only somehow or the other. And she knew no matter what she told her brother, Rukmini would never agree to this. And without his agreement, her father was also helpless. Now this was a kind of situation. Now what to do? So Rukmini Devi, what she did? She did not keep quiet. She did not resign herself to her fate. Now what to do? My brother has organized. Father is also not supporting. Mother is also not supporting. So let me marry Shishupala. What else to do? My love life is a tragedy. No, she did not want a tragedy. So what she did? She chose a messenger and sent a message to Krishna. So this messenger came all the way from Dwaraka. Krishna was in Dwaraka. He came all the way to Vidarbha, to Kundina. Kundina is today known as Kaundinyapura, which is lying between Amravati and Nagpur in Maharashtra. It is in the northeastern part of Maharashtra. So all the way from Gujarat, Dwaraka, which is practically on the beach of the ocean, on the Krishna had built Dwaraka city within the ocean. So from there, the messenger came to meet Krishna in Dwaraka. From Vidarbha, the messenger went to Dwaraka. So all the way from almost, it was like central India or western India to east, the further western portion of Gujarat. So that is where the messenger went. So the messenger traveled all these 1,000 kilometers odd, came to Dwaraka, and Krishna received him, and the messenger introduced himself that I am coming from Vidarbha, I am coming from Kundina, and I have brought you a message from the daughter of Bhishmaka. Now Krishna had never met Rukmini before. Rukmini had also never met Krishna before. But then you see the amount of love that Rukmini had for Krishna. She sent a messenger when her marriage had already been fixed. All the marriage arrangements were going on. Invitation card has been distributed. All over the world, kings are coming to Vidarbha for the marriage. So at such an advanced stage, she is sending a letter to Krishna to take her away from the marriage venue. So you can see the amount of strong bondage that was there between Rukmini and Krishna, although they had never met before. So how did this bondage happen? How did this attraction for Rukmini Devi to Krishna happen? The first thing that she mentions in her message to Krishna explains how she fell in love with Krishna, because an introduction is required. They have never met before, and Krishna is getting a message from Rukmini for the first time. So she has to explain the reason why she is sending him the message and why she is asking him to abduct her. So Rukmini Devi, the opening words of her letter, the opening words of Rukmini's letter to Krishna was Shutva gunan bhuvana sundara shinvatam te karna nirvishya karna vivarair harato angatapam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartha labham tvayachyuta vishati chittam apatrapam me. So Rukmini Devi, since she was sending a letter to Krishna for the first time, she said, apatrapam, I am shamelessly admitting this before you. Why she is using the word apatrapam? Why she is saying shamelessly, I am accepting this. Tvai achyuta visati chittam apatrapam me. Why she is saying shamelessly, achyuta, I am accepting that my mind has been captured by you. Because she felt Krishna is hearing from me for the first time. I don't know whether he even knows about me. So she put herself in Krishna's shoes. Krishna is suddenly receiving a message from a girl whom he does not even know. And she is sending a proposal to him to abduct him from her marriage. So what will Krishna think of her? That she is some shameless girl who has no respect, who has no dignity, who has no honor for the family and all. What will Krishna think of her? So she said that shamelessly I am accepting in front of you. I am keeping aside all my shame and I am accepting in front of you. So that Krishna will understand that Rukmini knows about these finer aspects of honor, dignity and all that. But still she is sending him this message, means it is something which is very serious. Krishna has to take it very seriously. Now, okay, girl, she is sending a love letter to a person whom she has not even met. So naturally, but how did you, Krishna's mind, the question will come, how do you know me? I am in Dwaraka, Gujarat, you are in Vidarbha, Maharashtra, somewhere far away, we have never even met each other. So how do you know me? Why are you sending me a letter? Why only me? Why not somebody else? So that is why the opening words of Rukmini Devi was, Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara. Oh bhuvana sundara. Oh most beautiful person in this whole universe. She said, Shrutva gunan, I have heard about your wonderful qualities. Okay, we hear about qualities of many people. Bhishmaka's palace, there must have been many sages coming. They must have been talking about the qualities of many people. She must have heard some people talking about the qualities of Shishupala also. So why only me? What is so special about my qualities? Krishna may think. So Rukmini Devi says that Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shinvatam te gunan. Whoever hears about your qualities, nirvishya kararna vivarair. Whenever somebody hears about your qualities and your qualities enter the heart of the person through his ear holes, nirvishya karna vivarair, through his ears, the qualities of Krishna enters the heart. What happens is, the person will harato angatapam, all the person's bodily identifications will get destroyed. The person will no more be attracted to bodily qualities and bodily attractions. All those things that we consider very attractive to the body, to the eyes, to the ears and all, we will lose attraction for everything else. And angatapam, whatever the desires are there of the body, whatever afflictions are there with respect to the body, everything will get destroyed. And rupam drishim drishimatam, your form. There may be so many beautiful personalities in this world. There are even devatas who are far more beautiful than human beings. There are gandharvas who are extremely beautiful. But then the beauty of Krishna is such that rupam drishim drishimatam, whoever has the power of sight, for that person the perfection of the power of sight is to look upon your beautiful form. And she already said that form of Krishna is Bhuvana Sundara. He is far more beautiful than even the Devatas, even the most beautiful Gandharvas. Akhilartha Labham, and just by seeing you, by setting one's eyes upon you, Akhilartha Labham, all the best purposes of life can be achieved. Like this, Rukmini Devi expressed how she had come to fall in love with Krishna. And then she goes on to tell Krishna that now her marriage is being engaged with Shishupala, and she says that you are the lion amongst all men, and what is suitable for the lion, if a jackal comes and takes it away, it is not very good. So I am meant to be yours, so please come and accept me. So then Krishna also, we all know how he gets moved by the fervent plea of Rukmini Devi, and he goes to Vidarbha, and he, as per her wish, he abducts her and takes her away from the battlefield, from the wedding venue. And then there is a fight between Rukmini and Krishna and all that, but finally Krishna defeats everyone. Balaram also fight with all the Shishupala and others, and they defeat all of them and bring Rukmini. And this is how Krishna married Rukmini. So we can see how the Lord himself, in his personal life, his grihastha life, his marriage started with a love marriage. So the Lord descended, one of the purpose for his descent is to establish how one should conduct oneself in this world. So the Lord himself engaging in a love marriage means that it is not against the scriptures, against the Vedic way of life to for a boy and a girl to fall in love and get married. But only thing is, not in the manner that it is happening in today's world. It has to be based on deeper, the actual personality of a person, by hearing from authorities. By direct association with a person, we may not be able to assess the person's actual qualities in a short period of time. But if we hear from authorities who have assessed, who have seen, who have heard from other authorities about that person and presents the actual picture of the person, then it is a different matter. In the olden days, when in India the arranged marriages used to happen, whenever a proposal would come, the girl's father would inquire from the other relatives and known people, do you know this boy? Do you know his character? Is he a good person? They would inquire from various people, and then when they get a good feedback, only then they would firm up the relationship. So, hearing from the right kind of people, of course, in today's world, we don't have the kind of roaming sages like that used to be there in the olden ages. In the olden ages, the sages would be traveling everywhere, and they were the right people to give the correct assessment of the personality of a person. Now, one more thing what we have to understand is, why does the Supreme Lord have to engage in love marriages? So actually, if we analyze a little more, Krishna, when he advented in this world, he appeared as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva. When he appeared in the dungeon of Kamsa as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Krishna appeared just like a small infant, small baby. And then Vasudeva transferred him to the household of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And there, Krishna slowly grew up. He grew up slowly, little by little, and the mothers used to see the teeth of Krishna coming out, because children, infants, when they are born, they don't have teeth. So Krishna also did not have teeth. Then little by little, they started seeing his teeth growing out. And then he was crawling on the ground. Initially, of course, he was lying on his back, and then when he turned over, there was a big festival. And that is how Krishna was kept under the cart, and Krishna killed a Shakatasura like that. Actually, that observance of that festival was when Krishna turned over. So naturally, these are all the different stages in the growth of a child. And then Krishna slowly started crawling with his legs and with his hands. And it was at that stage that he pulled down the Yamalarjuna, the two trees. And then slowly Krishna started walking. And when Krishna, little kids, when they start walking, they cannot walk so quickly and so properly. And so when Krishna actually started standing up and walking, that is when that fruit vendor came to his house, and Krishna filled her basket with full of jewels in return for the fruits that she gave. And then slowly Krishna grew a little stronger. Then he started taking the calves out. And then little more he grew up, he started taking the cows for grazing. So we can see how Krishna was growing from infancy to slowly to boyhood to youth. So the different stages, Kaumara, Pauganda. Finally, when Krishna became the age of 16, he became a Kishora. So, the age at which a person is in his youth, in Sanskrit it is called Kishora. In modern day we would call it a teenager. You are an adolescent and you are in, that is considered the phase when your youth is in full bloom. So, although Krishna grew from infancy to youth, after he reached the stage of Kaishora, Krishna did not age beyond that. Even though Krishna was there on this planet for 125 years, and in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna was almost 90 years old, still even in that battlefield, Krishna appeared just like a fresh youth, fresh Kishora. So it's surprising that Krishna never ages beyond Kaishora. Why? Because that Kishora Rupa of Krishna is the actual, original, eternal form of the Supreme Absolute Truth. That is the real, original form of the Lord. All other forms of the Lord are his expansions or meant for his Leelas. But the actual, original form is that of his Kishora Rupa. So in the Vishnu Purana, it is said that Sopi Kaishora Kavayo Manayan Madhusudanaha. Madhusudana, Krishna, he gave respect to his Kaishora age. So when that Kaishora Rupa of the Supreme Lord is the original form, what is the essence of Kishora age? What is the essence of youth? So, Reme Sriratna Kutastaha. Reme Sriratna Kutastaha Kshapasu Kshapitahitaha. So the Lord, giving respect to his Kaishora age, which is his eternal form, Krishna, giving respect to his Kaishora Rupa, Kshapita Ahitaha, all inauspicious things he destroyed. Kshapasu, in the season of autumn. How did he destroy? Reme Sriratna Kutastaha. Sriratna Kuta, in the midst of a multitude, in the midst of millions of the best of the girls, of the Sris, of the women, cowherd women in Vraja, the Lord Reme enjoyed in their midst. Kutastaha, in the midst the Supreme Lord enjoyed. So why the Vishnu Purana is stating this? Because the essence of Kaishora, the essence of that youth is what? The attraction for the opposite sex. Because in one's childhood, when he's a young child, that attraction for the opposite sex is not there. When a, say, 5-year-old kid, 6-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid is playing with, he will play, the boy will play with the girl, girl will play with the boy. There is no distinction. Freely they will play with each other. There is no attraction, special attraction between them. But when one steps into one's teens, when one steps into youth, that is when the attraction for the opposite sex starts awakening in the heart. That is a special feature of Kaishora. Without that attraction, if one remains like a small child, without any distinction between boy and girl, what is the meaning of youth? There is no meaning to youth. So when the Lord steps into Kaishora, he starts his various wonderful pastimes with the gopis of Vraja. So that means what we have to understand is that the Supreme Lord's, the Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna's original form is the Kaishora form. And the essence of Kaishora is attraction between man and woman. And so therefore, the Supreme Lord, because according to the Shastras, he is Raso Vai Saha. He is the reservoir of all pleasures. And so therefore, in his Kaishora form, he enjoys the topmost pleasure of loving relationship with the gopis. And so essentially, for the Lord to experience his highest pleasure, he manifests his Hladini Shakti in the form of the opposite sex, in the form of the cowherd girls, headed by Srimati Radharani. So, that is why the Vedanta Sutras also state, Janmadyasya yataha. The Supreme Lord is He from the maintenance, creation, annihilation, all these things are happening. So we can understand this in two ways. Janma Adi, Janma, etc. That means Janma, Mrityu, the creation, maintenance, annihilation, all these things. So that is referred to as Janma Adi. Another way to understand is Janma. Janma refers to Janma, the creation, maintenance, annihilation, etc. And Adi refers to Adi Rasa. Even Adi Rasa is also coming from the Supreme Lord. So, what is this Adi Rasa? The Adi Rasa is the topmost original mellow that is there that the Lord experiences. Raso vai saha. The Lord is the source of all pleasures, and of all the pleasures, Adi Rasa, the first original pleasure that the Lord desires to experience in His Kaishora age is the pleasure in the relationship with the gopis. And all other relationships, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, Dasya Rasa, etc. are meant for supporting that Adi Rasa. That's why it's called Adi Rasa. Of course, this attraction between Krishna and the gopis is definitely not like the attraction which a boy and a girl experiences in this material world. The example is given to externally see it might look like the same. Like you take two metals. You take iron and you take gold. Now, if you compare both of them, both are metals, isn't it? When you say gold is a metal, iron is a metal, both are metals. That way both are same. But then, can we compare the value of gold and iron? You can never compare. Value of iron is 1 kg, you will get for some 60-70 rupees. And gold, 1 kg is out of question. Even 8 grams you take, it will cost 30,000-50,000 rupees. So, where is the comparison? You cannot compare the two in terms of value. Similarly, although the attraction between Krishna and the gopis and a boy and a girl in this material world might look alike, there is a gulf of difference between the two. But the point is, because the Supreme Lord is the source of the Adi Rasa, He is the source of the attraction between Himself and the gopis. And because we are amshas, we are part and parcel of Krishna, so therefore in this material world also, the attraction between boy and girl has to exist. We cannot deny this. Just like when a small particle of gold and a gold mine, if you compare the qualities, it will be the same. Quantity may be different, but the qualities are the same. So because we are a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Krishna, we also have the qualities of Krishna. And because Krishna possesses that quality of getting attracted to Radharani and the gopis, therefore the living entities in this material world also have that natural innate attraction for the opposite sex. It cannot be stopped. Even in the spiritual world you go, there are men and women, there is attraction between them, but there is no sex life, there is no lust. The problem in this material world is that Adi Rasa becomes in a perverted form. It is expressed as the lusty desires between the boy and girl. Whereas in the spiritual world, in the attraction between Krishna and the gopis, there is no such lust, it is pure love. So, this we have to understand when the Bhagavatam is talking about the attraction between Devahuti and Kardamani and various other passages we will see. We have to understand this is because the Vedas accept this as a reality. It is an eternal reality. It is not an illusion. Attraction between man and woman is not an illusion. Why? Because that attraction is originally existing in the Supreme Lord. But that does not mean that we have to give free vent to it in this material world. Like I said, because in this material world, that original attraction that exists between the opposite sexes in the spiritual world, which is originally stemming from Krishna himself, is perverted in this material world, is contaminated with lust. And so therefore, that attraction between the man and the woman has to be restricted in this material world. It cannot be given a free hand that freely the boys and girls should intermix and should be able to express their relationship. No. Because it is right now in a contaminated state. Therefore, restriction is required according to the laws of the material, the material laws according to the Vedic scriptures. The interactions between man and woman have to be restricted, and they have to be channelized towards spirituality, so that our original attraction for Krishna awakens, and then we can become free from the contamination of the lusty desires. So, these are some of the things which we can, from the perspective of the absolute realm, that we can understand the attraction between Devahuti and Kardamani. And although such an attraction exists between them, it is based upon a deeper source, which is stemming from the spiritual world itself, from the Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna himself. So these are some of the things which we can understand. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.